For this week, we added to our menu application the ability to update project details and the ability to delete a project. We accomplished this by first adding these options to our operation list and then adding corresponding methods to our switch statement that's listening for user input. The update project details method exists in two parts. First part, we check to see if the user has a project currently selected to update. If there isn't a currently selected project, the user is kicked back and asked to select one first. In the running application, this is what it looks like. The application says you're not working with a project. If you select 4 to update a project, it prompts you to select a project first. 3 to select a project. Choose a project from the list. Project 3, hang a door. It lists the project. It says I'm working with this project. And when I hit 4 to update the project, it moves on to the second part of the update project details method. This second part starts out by creating a blank project object. This is going to be a placeholder to store the data that we're going to send to the database to be updated. For each instance variable on the project object, we will prompt the user for an update and remind the user what the current value is. After all the user input is complete, we then call the setter method on each project instance variable, and we pass whatever the user entered. If the user did not provide an update, we fall back on the current value. Once the project object is fully filled out, we pass that project object as an argument to the modify project details method of the project service object. Project service objects method is just going to be a pass through to a method on the project DAO object. In the project DAO object, we start by defining our SQL statement as a string with substitution parameters. We create a connection object and call start transaction, which disables the auto commit functionality. We create a prepared statement object by passing our SQL string to the prepared statement method of the connection object. Then for each substitution parameter in our SQL string, we're going to call set parameter, and we'll populate that parameter with the corresponding instance variable from our project object. Once the SQL string is completely filled out, we'll call the execute update method on our statement object. This will run the SQL statement on the server and return how many rows on the server were updated. We have a where clause that's restricting the update to a single ID, so we expect this to only return 1. We then commit the transaction and return any errors back to the project service layer. In the app, it looks like this. First, I'm prompted with the current value, given a selection to skip or enter a new value. If I skip through all these values, just enter the last one I'll change to updated. And then you can look at the notes of this project object. Originally, the notes said use a door hang kit. Now the notes on the object say updated. When we move to delete an object, we have a little bit more to consider. Because each project can be associated with multiple materials, steps, and categories, we need to make sure that the associated entities are also deleted when we delete the object. If we look at our entity relationship diagram, we'll see that our project ID primary key is a foreign key in each of these other tables. So the way we gracefully handle a delete is in our project schema. Every table that has the project ID as a foreign key, we want to add the table constraint of onDelete cascade so that the related tables are deleted gracefully when a project is removed. In the application, it looks like this. If I hit 5 to delete a project, it's going to give me a list of projects to delete. If I put in an invalid number, it'll gracefully handle it and ask me to put in a real number. Now, when I delete the project, I also want to make sure that I've deleted the materials, steps, and categories. And the best way to check that I did is to look directly on the database with a database client. So if I go to delete project number, if I press 5 to delete a project, and I want to delete project number 3, hang a door. I can first verify using a database client like dbeaver the values on project 3. So here we have hang a door. It's associated with 2 different categories, multiple materials, and multiple steps. Once I go and I actually delete and press in the application, I'm given a confirmation that it was successfully deleted. I can check that project doesn't exist anymore by getting the project list and see it's removed from the project lists. And the analog on the server is if I go to my projects, hang a door, and I refresh that project table, you'll notice project 3 deleted. This is just running a select star from table with a limit of 200. But if I look at project categories and refresh that as well, you can see that's deleted from there, from materials, and also from steps.